Headlining this hour, independence pressure. Catalans launch a petition as they fear the region's officials won't declare independence from Spain after last Sunday's referendum, which saw 90% of those who turned out vote yes. It's exactly 16 years since the US entered Afghanistan. We look at what's been achieved and lost in America's longest war. And WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange offers a twist on Western journalism as he mocks the recent coverage of the so-called Russiagate and the country's alleged interference in America. Hello to you this Saturday. It's midday here in Moscow. My name's Colin Bray. Welcome to the Global News from RT International. First up this hour, fears that the Catalan Parliament won't push on with its independence pledge are growing in the breakaway region. Last week's referendum, which was marred by violence, saw the majority of those who cast their ballots vote yes to leave Spain. But the pro-independence camp in Catalonia feels officials are now pushing for dialogue with Madrid. So they've launched a petition calling on the authorities in Barcelona to stick with the secession plan. Now, some political parties in Catalonia have joined the calls for the Catalan president, Carles Puigdemont, to speed up the declaration of independence. But it's not that cut and dried, because there are also many voices that favour a less radical approach, including those in the president's own party.
The struggle for independence unites us, but we need to make things right. We have to try not to lose or expel anyone from the process.
Right, let's go live to Barcelona now. We can talk to our correspondent Anastasia Churkin, who's been there for the past few days, keeping a close watch on things there. Nastya, any developments to report in Barcelona this Saturday?
Well, Colin, pressures are certainly mounting here in Catalonia as the Catalan leadership is, in fact, expected to keep its promise. And basically what Carles Puigdemont has been saying this entire time was that Catalonia would declare independence within 48 hours of the votes being counted and announced following the referendum. And we have seen just last night the Catalan leadership did register the final results of the referendum of October 1st with the parliament. They were the same ones that were announced earlier, that 90% of those who did come out to vote did vote in favor of leaving Spain. So now the expectation is that they would go ahead with announcing their independence. And Puigdemont earlier this week did say that this would come as early as this weekend or potentially the beginning of next week. So certainly all eyes are now on that. And we do know that, of course, pressure from Madrid has been mounting. The latest comments we've heard were from the Spanish foreign minister, who threatened that if Catalonia leaves, they would essentially become an outlaw.
You can disagree with the law, but you cannot disobey the law. If you disobey the law, you become an outlaw.
Well, all of this comes as Carles Puigdemont, he did use very strong language when it came to this referendum, something that, of course, has been years and years in the making for the Catalan pro-independence movement, continuing to push for this go-ahead. And he used very strong language initially, but did seem to kind of push back slightly following the referendum. He did reference the mediation, and at some point during the week, he came out to make a speech where he was expected to announce deadlines. However, he again just very widely said that the institutions of Catalonia would follow up on the results of the referendum. Let's take a look.
The day after the 1st of October, we will start a new period, taking into consideration the will of the Catalans. Do not underestimate the strength of the people of Catalonia. The situation asks for mediation, and mediation means that we need a third party. I will make a direct appeal to the European Union.
Well, it's obviously very safe to assume that politicians here in Catalonia, as well as in Madrid, are having sleepless nights right now trying to figure out their next steps. Now, what we do know is that the Catalan Regional Parliament is going to be meeting on Tuesday. The leader of the Catalonia, Puigdemont, is going to be there, and that is now the day when they are expected to announce either, actually going ahead with this independence that they've been talking about, or some kind of further steps. So all eyes are on that, but we do know that this this was supposed to initially have been taking place on Monday, and the Spanish Constitutional Court had banned that step. So now it's been changed to Tuesday. So we'll see really what comes out of that. This whole independence issue obviously has been sending passions flying. We've been seeing protesters coming out onto the streets throughout this last week, and the issue of police brutality came to the forefront to an extreme, really, here for an EU member state to have seen the images that circulated the world where police forces had cracked down on voting stations, where we saw them dragging around voters of all ages, and as many as over 800 people ended up being injured. So we can safely assume also that following all this drama, the people who did come out to vote in support of Catalonia leaving Spain are now expecting just that to happen.
Yeah, more waiting, but a crucial 72 hours coming up, I guess. We'll just have to see who blinks first. For now, though, Anastasia Churkina in Madrid, thank you. Well, Madrid's latest move was to pass a new law making it easier for companies to relocate away from Catalonia. Several banks, as well as energy, telecommunication and textile companies, have already decided to move their headquarters out of the region. Here's what some economists have been telling us about the recent business exodus.
I think it's the companies that are genuinely concerned about the break of the law and, more importantly, completely random decision of which laws does the Catalan government abide to and which ones they don't, because this poses a significant risk for investment security and for many other issues.
An hypothetical new Catalan Republic is not the signatory of the treaties establishing the European Union or the other communities. And then it will be outside the European Union and outside the Euro and outside the cover, the umbrella of the European Central.